Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Crypto ZX channel. As you can tell by the title of the video, we're going to be talking about Monad, the new launch, which again, a lot of people are talking about in this state of the market. Again, we have a new kid on the block. I'm going to talk to you guys about, what I personally think. I'm going to share some, price thoughts with you guys. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. But make sure you're subscribed to the Crypto ZX channel. Your bell icon is on, so you're notified every time we upload. And let me know in the comments if you want to see more of these updates. So again, this is quite a new project. Mainnet just went live Monday, and it's up 40% over the last 24 hours as far as the native token is concerned. Looking at it on a weekly time frame, obviously you're not going to see that because, of course, like I said, this is a new project. So Monad right now, as you can see, currently is sitting at about 4.5 cents. It's seeing quite a nice jump, up about 35% in both Bitcoin and USD comparative, especially in this state of the market. The valuation at 470 million and the 24-hour trading volume is at 1.5 billion dollars. Yes, that is correct. But before we get into any further, as always, just a quick disclaimer: anything on this channel is not financial advice. Always do your own due diligence and research when you are investing in crypto. So as far as Monad, exchanges are concerned, again, like I said, volume is not something we want to be overlooking. It is, very impressive right now, much larger, three times the size of its valuation. And that really tells you that there is a lot of momentum. But again, if you understand what this is the new kid on the block, meaning it is another layer one, which again is EVM compatible. So again, this is not like something new in terms of like that there's no competition out there. If you want to compare it to, competitors of Monad, Ethereum in a way is its own competitor, even though it makes it, easy for developers, to pretty much launch, Ethereum contracts on Monad. Obviously, there's, benefits of doing so, lower fees, and so on and so forth. But in terms of competition, we just cannot ignore it. There are, a lot of other, layer ones as well. Again, if you want me to name some, Solana is one of them, as well as, of course, Avalanche, so on and so forth. So again, this is not the first time we're seeing a layer one launching. Again, there's a lot of layer ones. But again, it's a new kid on the block. And it's gaining a lot of momentum right now. I'm gonna share my personal thoughts with you guys. You guys know when I talk to you guys about anything, I bring you guys unbiased updates and just a full disclaimer and transparency. I own absolutely zero. And yes, I did not qualify for this airdrop. So speaking about airdrop, yes, this was airdrop to people that use the test net, and also Coinbase had the ICO for this. Believe it or not, Coinbase, and I think the pre-sale happened on Coinbase, if I'm not mistaken. Correct me if I'm wrong. Yes, I'm pretty sure it did, and that's where the money was raised. But now the question is, you guys know I look deep into this type of stuff. So this token launched. So what are the tokenomics looking like? On paper, tokenomics don't look the best. Only 10.8 billion out of the 100 billion total supply is unlocked right now. You can see for yourself. But the good thing, the positive thing that I could say, like in my opinion, right now, yes, this does not mean there's no future unlocks. There's definitely going to be future unlocks, but for 1 year, pretty much from the mainnet, there's no unlocks. So I think in the immediate short term, Monad could gain momentum because in this day and age, with the project launching with this amount of hype behind it, um, I personally think, in my personal opinion, I think the valuation sitting at below a $500 million is low, in my opinion. Again. Because like I said, we're in a completely different state of the market. The overall market cap for the space is $3.1 trillion. So if this gains momentum, which it's already doing, $1.4 billion in volume, and even if it comes to scalpers or short-term traders, thinking from a short-term perspective, because again, like I said, for the next 12 months, there's no big unlocks coming, which again gives short-term traders a chance to come on board. Maybe they're going to be feeling more confident doing so based off of, like I said, there is no unlocks. So this could actually get some legs behind itself. But with that said, I personally, again, I'm putting myself in my shoe how I would play this, but like I said, I don't own any. But maybe once the unlocks are coming, maybe once the unlocks are approaching, you might start to see, Monad already kind of pricing itself for that. But I think in the immediate term, this thing could have legs for itself, as you can see across the board. It launched at a very low valuation, which again, surprised a lot of people in the crypto space. So again, in terms of TVL, only 124.1 million. You can see for yourself, it has some of these protocols. But what's quite interesting here for this project is, there's obviously this is a layer one mainnet's launched, and people on X are talking about, oh, Monad, meme coins, this and that, yada yada yada. But one thing I want you guys to understand is the risk behind these meme coins. You always want to do your due diligence research when you are looking into meme coins, because when you look into meme coins, pretty much, let's say I'm going to give you an example. Let's say you're like, what, I'm willing to invest $10, and I'm willing to put into these meme coins. Wish that money goodbye. Like literally, that's how you want to put it. As I say that even about crypto. Like if you're putting money into crypto in general, it's money that you should be able to be okay to lose. That is how you want to kind of time, and pretty much, I wouldn't say time, that's how you want to kind of play this market, because it's very very important to do so. And with meme coins specifically, there's no utility behind them, there's no real use case. It's pretty much a supply and demand hype factor. So again, it's still in the very early stage. Again, 124.17 million, very very low compared to some of the other big players, but we'll see what happens. I'll keep you guys covered, but I wanted to kind of point this out to you guys. But let's take a closer look and see what's happening. So as far as the dominance is concerned, we're sitting at about 58.67%. Bitcoin, on the other hand, has been ranging quite nicely. Again, this is a new launch, but still, it's very worthwhile knowing. But Bitcoin's pretty much still remaining within the 61.8 Fibonacci retracement level, as you can see for yourself. Still holding above $86,000. Again, if you are new to the channel, make sure you guys come subscribe to the channel. Very important. Come join the Crypto ZX army. But Bitcoin, if it's able to break above this $88,000 key range, I am anticipating, Bitcoin could potentially get back into the point 50, which I think, will give Monad a little bit more momentum. But speaking about Monad, let's take a look at it on an hourly perspective. Like I said, it's a very new project. People that are just going to be drawing lines on this, like, come on, there's not much data that we can work with. I'm sure if you've watched my Astro updates, if you've watched like some of the new coins that we've been covering, you guys know how I analyze them. We need to kind of give it some more time to see how this project kind of find a ground for itself. But pretty much started off at 2.5 cents, just on the 24th, on Monday. And you could see for yourself, if you were able to get in around here, Monad actually had a very impressive move, 100% increase in just the last 2 days. So like I said, that should tell you, where the valuation for Monad was on launch day, at about two less than 200 million. No, sorry, not less than 200 million. Sorry, my math is not mathing. Less than $250 million in valuation. And that should tell you everything. Like I said, with the hype factor that is behind itself, I think it opened up compared to some of the other competitors. We've seen Plasma, launch at crazy valuation, and you could talk about some other coins as well. But Monad has been gradually increasing right now, and the overall trajectory right now. Again, this project is quite new. Like I said, it is seeing an all-time high of about 4.8 cents. But we did see a little bit of a pullback, but it is picking up again. Look at it from November 24th, obviously starting like listing price. You could see, it is up 100%. So as of now, it's holding up really nicely. Obviously, in terms of support, like I said, I don't really like, talking about support on new pairs. But if you were to look at it, there is some support around the 4 cents price point, that you should expect to play as a little bit of a support. If you want to put this into perspective from its all-time high, that would be about a 16% pullback. Again, there is obviously significant support around 3.8 cents, because that was, the wick on Monday, which we actually went up to, came down to 2.9 cents, and then obviously, broke out. As of now, you could see, it's pretty much in this upwards trajectory. And like I said, it could actually have legs behind itself, based off of, Bitcoin not looking bad. And if the dominance continues to pull down, volume speaking, a lot for itself. And like I said, the tokenomics, gives, more maybe like short-term traders that are in for the short term that could potentially think that Monad could go up in the next few months to come. Again, in terms of there's no future unlocks, I think that is a big positive way for at least like the next 12 months. But that doesn't mean that the price of Monad could just straight go up in one line for the next 12 months. Obviously, I would love to be wrong, but I think market kind of prices itself accordingly. And I do believe if you are going to be playing this, obviously do your due diligence research, invest what you can afford to lose. Very, very important. Of course, if you've done those first two things, then again, invest what you can afford to lose. But make sure you're timing this right. If you do make profit off of this, make sure you do lock that profit. You just don't want to be holding on to the profits too long. Obviously, if you're for the long haul, you believe in this project, then it's on you, and that's where your due diligence comes into play. But with that said, don't just ignore the future unlocks, because when you do see major future unlocks, that does mean more coins coming on the more coins coming into circulation, which means more potential selling pressure could come on board. So these are factors that we don't really want to be forgetting. As of now, Monad is pretty much in this upwards trajectory, and it's not too far off from reaching an all-time high. Again, with the current state, we're only about 8.6% away for it to retest a new all-time high. And after that, it pretty much enters price discovery mode. And obviously, once you enter price discovery mode, there's no resistance, there's no support. And, with the volume that's behind itself, that is, something I'm paying very close attention to. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. What are your overall projection? If you, did make some profit, if you got in around here, you timed this perfectly, and you're up about 100%, make sure, you lock in some profits. And if it's too much money that you cannot afford to lose, simple as that. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. Love you all. See you later in Crypto ZX and peace.